Testing, testing. Um, okay, so it's just a light night because I need to vent for a minute. A lot been going on. It's been a minute since I've even shot a YouTube video, let alone a live stream. And ignore my background. I'm currently staying at my aunt's house. Um, I have been receiving backlash. Not it wasn't on YouTube. Um, well, it wasn't only on YouTube. It did happen on YouTube a couple of times, and I do go and erase the comment. Um, but it also happened on my editing account, and then it happened on my main multiple times. And this is on my TikTok accounts. It also happened over on Instagram. So I would just like to say, so let's start. The reason why I had been receiving backlash is because over on my edits account, which is all inclusive, I made a Power Rangers gay edit. Yes. And what people do not understand is that some of the Power Rangers in this series, or the universe for that matter, were played to be gay. Just didn't have a relationship, and it wasn't announced till after the fact. So, um, I hate it when people say you should curl up, go die, go to hell, all of that. Only because I made an edit that somebody specifically requested. Because if you think about it, LGBTQ plus, IA plus did not get really much rep in the Power Rangers universe. If we get a hint and peek of queer baiting, and then we get a hint and peek of bisexual characters, like take Chase Randolph, for exact. Take Chase Randolph. Okay, from Power Rangers Dino Charge, the Black Ranger. He gives off bisexual vibes. Yeah, you only see him with girls throughout the series. But then, when you think about it, him and Rai did not get along at all till after one day of battle. And then they became closer than close than friends. So, I hate receiving backlash for something somebody asks for, especially because I'm an editor that takes requests for Pacific edits. And then on top of that, you're like, well, Power Rangers is for boys. Power Rangers is straight. I'm like, no. Because if you look, Michael Timbers tweeted back after the show ended that he did play Riley Griffin on Chase Randolph. So, backlash at gay editors, creators, anybody who does stuff like that, because like I said before, some editors take requests, some don't. I am an editor that does, and I happen to own a couple of different accounts, which I do not know why I've been receiving backlash. Like, I didn't realize nobody would really care. But if you think about it, a lot of the Black Ranger, most of the Black Rangers that are literally in a black suit are portrayed to be bisexual. And if you think about it, if you look at Dino Thunder, Connor McKnight was not straight. Trent was not straight. Yeah, I'm saying this. Kara was not straight. Haley definitely wasn't straight. Even dating back to the very first Power Ranger, the blue Power Ranger was not straight. So, and then on top of that, it's like people do not understand. But if you look at, they only made 3 Dino Rangers. That Dino Thunder, Dino Charge, and I'm not counting the supercharges. Not counting supercharge. And then we got Dino Thunder. Well, not Thunder, Fury. Dino Fury. Dino Fury was Dino Fury. Javi is not only Hispanic. Not only is he Hispanic, he is also bisexual. And I know it sounds weird, but believe me, he is bisexual. Just like Chase Randall was. And then if you look at his sister, if you look at Javi's sister, she doesn't even wear a skirt. Her uniform is non-gender conforming. Which I love that they did that, because his sister is the Green Ranger. So not only is Javi bisexual, but his sister is a lesbian. Did you ever notice that she's not with any boys? Do you ever notice how she looks at girls? So I want to say this before I end this topic for this part of this live stream. Please, please, please understand, when I make a gay edit, specifically what somebody requests for, it is not because I'm trying to offend somebody. It is because I'm doing something that we don't get to see. That is what my edits account is all about. It is mainly about inclusivity. That's what my edits account is all about. So far, I have done non-binary characters together. I have done trans. I have done pansexual. I have done lesbian characters. I have done gay characters. I have done all that. I have done characters that people would not put together before, and people have liked it. So if I'm receiving backlash, what do you think, how you think that makes me feel? For once. Okay. Off that topic, next topic. On my main TikTok account, I have received death threats. Not only death threats on that account, also on my Instagram, because of my race. First off, it is because I identify as Native and Black. Secondly, everybody says we need Trump back in office. No, we don't. Thirdly, let me tell you a story about a little girl. This little girl happened to be me. I went to school most of my life getting a fight as mixed throughout my elementary school and middle school. I identified as mixed because, like I said, I identify Native American and Black African American. And I can speak Native. So sometimes I speak Native at school when I'm freaking out and people wouldn't understand it, but I did it. I didn't even count on one finger. Not to mention slurs that date back to the early times. I also really, really don't like when people comment. And this might be, I'm going to say this girl's name, Cassidy. You want to keep bullying me on social media? I'm going to air it out on here. Because you were the one who bullied me. Now, you have the audacity to do it on social media. I can't even say it to my face. Because I know where you live. I got told in kindergarten I couldn't. You can't be Tiana. You're too light. I also got told that I also I couldn't be Hannah Montana. I'm too black. And I got told literally by another kid who was a grade higher than me, already in the first grade, you can't you can't be none of the stuff you want to be. You can only be Pocahontas. I'm like, not that I don't care, but Pocahontas is stereotyping natives. I also hate the fact that the one time, there's another time, I got told I couldn't come to school as one of the Winx Club girls. I couldn't come to school as a Barbie. I couldn't be strawberry shortcake because I'm not white. So, I would just like to say that I can be what I want. Secondly, if you do not understand the struggle, because most of these hate comments and stuff are white people who don't understand what it is like or had to work for a thing in their life because of their white privilege or had to worry about getting pulled over by the police or have actually had the police, all white male officers, bust into your house looking for your uncle on a child support purge. Pushing your mom, push your mom, try and get in the house when your mom's sick, or been called a dumb little black girl who doesn't know nothing. All literally, I said, "Do you have a right to be in here? Do you have a right to come up in here?" And my uncle heard the screaming and came out. And they still like, and then when my mom went into full detail about how our family has high and ranked jobs, and my grandfather happens to be well known across Hamilton County, they got real nice real quick. But before all this, they called me a dumb little black girl who believes that Black Lives Matter PS and literally called me dumb to my face and said I don't do nothing but watch the news. There. Who told me that? Only one officer was nice, but it wasn't until me and my uncle's girlfriend started recording. And their mood changed real quick, and my mom had to, just with a threat, they changed their whole demeanor. And I went toe to toe with an officer. So, yes, I've been through more. Yes, I may not look like I've been through a lot, but actually, I have. Yes, I had to stand toe to toe with an officer because my mom ain't ranked no little girl to run in her room and cry. I've dealt with racism, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having to fear for my life. I'm sick of having to worry if my brothers are going to come home. Because my identical twin brothers are 20-year-old black males. I am sick of having to worry if one day one of them slips up, makes one wrong mistake, and an officer shoots them and claim that it was an accident, that they were reaching for a weapon when they were simply reaching for their phone. That I'm not going to tolerate, because if something really does happen to my brothers and I find out it was an officer, not only will I go off, I will go down to that police station and cause a ruckus. My brothers have been called the N word before, not when they were younger. I have been called a redskin, a savage. I've been called the N word. I've been called a fake black girl. I've been called a wannabe native. I have been called all that. I have experienced all that by the time I was in middle school. And it never stopped either. Because when I went to my next school, they did the same thing in the bathroom behind closed doors. Said you'll never amount to anything. You're so stupid. You're stupid. You can't do this. I actually had friends. So, do not speak on stuff you don't know. Secondly, we're not going to talk about my dad. We're not going to talk about me having daddy issues, which is not okay on any level. Secondly, I will not hesitate, because just to let you know, I got a certified certificate in coding. So I can code, I can hack, and I will figure out who you are and go straight to the police after that. I'll go straight to the police because I know some police officers become my friends. Oh, but this wasn't the only racism. No, it was not only in middle school. When I went to hang out with my actual friends from school, we went to Spare Time. It's located in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're just because it was two of my friends' birthdays in that same month. And we'd only get together on Fridays because we had exams coming up. This white man who was older than us, keep in mind, older than us, that worked in the arcade, was saying, "Excuse me, your group is being too loud. Your group is climbing up on things." And every time he'd come up to us, and then he said, "We need to round up our party and we need to leave." So me and my best friend ran to get my mom, because not only was my friend, who I'm not going to name names, but she was going back and forth with them and was sitting on chairs saying, "No, I'm not going to move. You won't move, make me." So as that was unfolding, me and my friend ran to get my mom, who was sitting in the adult section. He stopped. He came up to us again, and when my mom napped, he cried. They had to go back there a couple months after that incident just because of my cousin's birthday. He didn't know what had happened. And my big cousin, who is like my sister, she was ready to fight. So let me tell you something. To these white, privileged colonizers, yes, I'm calling y'all colonizers, because little did y'all know that this land was not yours. This land was ours. This land belonged to Native Americans before y'all forced them on. reservations. You want it to become you want it to become Americanized. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not growing up Americanized. I'm growing up with tribal law. I'm growing up with all that. So what I am going to say is try me. Because I have been through so much more. So you won't come at me. You want to sit behind that computer, type mean comments, come at me. Because that, I got a spine. I got a backbone. Nothing hurts. Literally. I wrestled. I lift weights. So you won't come at me for that? Go ahead. Because next time I see a comment like that, not only will you get blocked, reported, and I'll find out your name, I will make sure you wish, never comment. And if I see any hate, because it's also going to my friends who are more in the mixed minority category, who are not, who are dark skinned, also Hispanic, I will do the same thing. And that's a promise. That's not a threat. Because I'm sick of hearing my friends cry, saying, Martina, I got a death threat. I'm sick of having to worry about walking my street, wondering if I'll get called by cops. I'm sick of wondering if when I'm going out skateboarding because I live in a white neighborhood, is somebody gonna call the cops? I mean, just for skateboarding. And say I'm doing something that is not true and I end up getting hurt. And my mom does not know where I am, nor my grandparents, nor my brothers. So I want y'all to let that sink in. That y'all say, oh, we have it tough. You don't have it tough. Things are handed to you. I'm like, no. Things are not just handed to us. Have you not noticed the death rates go up and up and up? And it happens to be, they mess with those statistics and make it look like it's black on black crime. But truth be told, most of these crimes are white police officers who shoot black kids. They make it look like the person was in a gang to cover up that they pulled and drawed out a weapon on an innocent man or an innocent woman with kids. So I want you to think about that. Do you want to imagine getting that call as a mother? Not knowing that where your kid was, and then come to find out he'd been shot? Think about Breonna Taylor or George Floyd. Because people are saying George Floyd's death was from COVID. George Floyd's death wasn't from COVID. George Floyd's death was, in fact, a murder deemed by the courts. Because the white cop sat on his neck so he couldn't breathe. How many times he said, I can't breathe, 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 till he was unconscious. And the officer knew, because that basic training, the officer knew that George Floyd could not breathe, yet he standed there while his head was on concrete till his body was limp and unconscious. So no, George Floyd's death was no accident. And could you imagine being a kid wondering where daddy coming home? Because he had a daughter those officers, yeah, they may have had life, but they made their choice. They made a choice. And Black Lives Matter had not been just now started up or started 2020. Black Lives Matter been around for many, 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 many years. So we're fighting for equality. Okay, Black Lives Matter. What about all lives matter? All lives can't matter till Black Lives Matter. All lives can't matter till Hispanic lives matter. All lives can't matter till Muslim lives matter. All lives can't matter till LGBTQ plus lives matter. Because did you know the highest rate in crime right now happens to be deaths of trans people of color? Or did you not know that? Or did you happen to know that I have been called slurs or thrown slurs? I've been called a fake AD only because I'm pansexual and I have a preference. I'm pansexual slash omnia and I have a preference. Or could be fact that panophobic. Oh wait, but y'all want to throw Trump back in the office. Y'all want to say Biden has rape allegations. Says who? Because so far, the only rape allegations of a president who have broken many records was Donald J. Trump, who has multiple rape allegations, who has victims, who has incited a racial war, who has started a riot, who been impeached twice. So I want you to let that sink in. And there will be another late night talk soon. But I want you to think about that. I want you to think about all the controversial stuff we got into tonight. And I want you to think about how this has not only happened to me, who is in a mixed minority. This has also happened to little kids. It's happening to little kids now. Who's being told they can't be a certain person to dress up because they're not the same skin tone. Or that or Power Rangers is made for boys and is straight. Or that Black lives don't matter. So I want y'all to let that sink in and think about this. And I am going to end this late night talk with Martina or Tina or Girl Gamer Tips or 100 Things to Know About Surviving Middle School or whatever you want to call me. But preferably Tiana would be nice. And I just want to let everybody know that I go by she/they. Not she, her, she/they. Thank you. Or maybe next Saturday, depending on what I have to do, because I got cheer competition next month. So yeah.